Andrew Bounty Hunter was lively fleeing his begin-up industry while he implemented how thing was incorrect in his public health. I begun loser way rather rapidly, and I had a coughing how fare wouldn't change, says the company founder of job searching website Adzuna. How was 3 year back, and the later 33-year-old implemented how he had superior go and get verified of. I had an X-ray, and a flesh scanning, and the carcinoma was anywhere, he says. I can certainly say how the day I was undiagnosed was the lowest of my lifetime. Andrew was said how he had a potential lifetime-threatening shape of bloodstream carcinoma named lymphogranulomatosis lymphomas. It was so surrealistic, he says. I was anxious on a engineering question at job, the following day I was in clinic possessing treat. Andrew had set up Adzuna in London in 2011 in his industry affiliate and company boss Ark Monroe. Their concept was to build a website how was capable to trawlnet the web to compare as lot job adverts as probable, and later enable human beings to discover them all via Adzuna. We implemented how job searchers were creature hardly serviced in which was on the marketplace behind later, says Andrew, now 36. Jobs were dispersed above job websites, recruiting companies, person industry sites. We requested to go up in a way wherever you could searching for all the jobs in one location. Employing a software program software developer to assist them set up the website, Andrew abandoned his job as UK Chief of Web Sale at eBay, time Ark leftward his stance as Chief of Operative at confidential advertisement website Gumtree. One day they were sure how their plate treated effectively quite they provided enterprise equity financing and begun to increase the industry. 2 years after in 2013 the business got a increase while it won a UK by the government agreement to construct an iPad app for later Main Secretary David Mr. Cameron. The app gave him the newest actual time information on both of the job and habitation markets. It as well turned on data on wages trends and some economical information. In Adzuna as well expansion overseas, it all looked love simple shipping, before Andrew got his carcinoma diagnostic in 2015. Once he had to get a behind chair of the industry as doctors began to consider his carcinoma. The intended how Ark not just had 2 transactions in the news story how his boyfriend was severely bad, but he now had to conduct Adzuna on their own. I believe I in fact barn a teardrop while I said our personnel on Andrew, says Ark, 43. It was a hard period yet I as well had the industry to transactions in, expressive shareholders and executive board members on the news story. Of year I went lightly in character regime, says Ark, hard to do all how both of me and Andrew processed, but later I implemented I had to participant, and several of the crew had to move upwards. Ark and the 32 members of personnel at Adzuna mind how Andrew would just be off for a few months, but his flesh told differently. Each kind of chemo I was taking into account my flesh discarded, says Andrew. It was such a strike each period. To show their supporting for Andrew, Adzuna employees begun to lift cash for Carcinoma Study UK, consisting departure on a 100-kilometre, 62 sponsored go. A year in his treat Andrew was said how the just item how could effectively gear his carcinoma was a narcotic named nivolumab, but sadly it wasn't accessible on the UK's domestic Heather facility. So to lift the cash to buy the narcotic oneself, that expenses £4,000 for a 3-week delivery, Andrew requested Adzuna's investors if they would be capable to buy several of his shares. They coordinated. They stored my lifetime, he says. This narcotic helping to decrease my tumors quite to include a stock cage replant. In deceased 2016 Andrew had the transactions following a overlapping funder was found to offer Andrew several stock cells, specific cells manufactured by Ivory Squash how rotate in various types of bloodstream cells. In no immunity framework for 30 days, he consumable Yuletide of how year in a clean bladder up his immunity framework begun to recover. By June 2017 Andrew was eventually so quite to back to job. In the 2 year he had been off of the office space the business had advanced significantly, especially in across the sea markets. Up Andrew went for treat. We were perhaps a tertiary world, hard to break down in the marketplace, and while he came behind it was on to third world, says Ark. Andrew says it was pleasant to go behind to a fuller crew, and see the changes in the industry. Adzuna now operates in 16 countries, and has 7 million recorded users. Its yearly circulation has grown up to £12 meter, and its labor has nearly double of the period of Andrew's diagnostic to 60 human beings. The full invest it has now provided of enterprise equity firms is as well £12 meter. The industry makes largest of its cash of companies profitable to promote their jobs on its website, and by charge firms a fee each period it refers a job seeker to their own websites. A few months ago Adzuna as well won an agreement to ensure a new searching framework for the UK by the government's job centre terminals and job hunt website. Andrew is yet by physician's orders to try to get things lightweight, so he is just in the office space 3 days a 1 week, work on specific projects quite rather than in accusation of one special item, but he's pleasant to eventually be behind. Departure via carcinoma of year makes you prioritize things, and see at lifetime in a fully various path, he adds. This little things how utilized to irritate me, love receive jammed in a traffic marmalade, fair dong tea worry me over. Andrew yet has routine verify UPS, but for now he is carcinoma complimentary. And he had more than nice news story at the begin of the year, the arrive of his and his woman's at first kid. The was thing doctors said them may not be probable following his treat.